Hey, coffee.
Is that okay? Okay. So today I want to talk about something that I've always been curious about ever since, like, from the very beginning. From the very beginning of time. Like, when I was growing up, I had an uncle. I was staying there in their house. Um, he had tools, and I was always curious of how it was like hung on a wall, and then you can like see the array of like things, and I was always curious about like the forms of the tools, the the functions of the tools, when do you use it, like things like that. And I was always curious about that, more so than like the child toy. I had childhood toy, fortunate enough, had tools, but I was always more curious to the tools, because it was, in my mind, it was like a specific thingy to do something. Otherwise, now these days it's called purpose, like, design for a purpose. It's tool. I don't know what it was called. It's like, you have to assign names to it. And now, uh, I've always been curious about the history of tools. I think man had always been uh, dependent and reliant of tools. Uh, the very first thing, like that connection from like the mind to the physicality, that's what's in between around us, and our mind is our body, our abilities. That's the main tool. And this, I have two hands, left and the right, hold them apart, scream, and blah 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 blah. These are the main tools, and then our ability, and throughout time, I'm guessing here, uh, the use of objects to facilitate what we want to accomplish, making tools and all that stuff. That's what I want to talk about. Of course, I'm guessing here because I don't know. I've read a book before. This book, uh, Ideas: A History of Thought and Invention from Fire to Freud, by Peter Watson. I've read this. It took me like a while to read this, like almost like a year and a half to read all bunch of pages, because I wasn't just like reading it, like go through to just absorb information. I was also researching about the topics that was being discussed, like cross-referencing it, like researching about it. So it took me a while to absorb all that, like every fiber. But this is a very good book, and I highly recommend this for anyone who's like scholastic enough to go through it. Going back to tools, um, I'd go back to day one. I think, aside from like these things as main tool of, like, for people, I think the very first tool that people come up with was this item. Well, I'm debating between the two things. I'm I'm debating between, since I can't go back in time, you know, like I don't have a time machine to do that. So I'm like deducting everything to the simplest form of the most convenient accident that could have happened. Like, what would be the first tool to do? And I really suspect that the function is to like a hammer, you know. So what would be the two the first item that was picked up to do the job of a hammer or something to hack things? It's either a rock, you know, or a stick, you know, to hit things. So these two items is like debatable. Like, what would be the, you know, what would be the first one? And either or, I can go left and right. This or this. So I think all that innovation of history, you know, the rock and the stick, is all about being able to like crush something. It's a hammer, right? Before Thor invented his super duper hammer, you know, long before that, the rock and the stick, and and Home Depot came up with this. Well, it's not really Home Depot, it's DeWalt. This is their latest and greatest hammer, I think. This is the 14-ounce welded framing hammer. I like the framing hammer more than the ordinary hammer, the one that's curved. You know, I like the framing hammer because you can, like, for me, I can do more things with this. Like, being like the weight is less, it's 14 ounce or 14 something, 14 pounds. It can't be 14 pounds, 14 ounce. And then the ergonomics of this thing is really, really super good. Oh, and modern hammers have this design thing from the top that you can like pick up. It has a magnet. You can pick up a nail, and then from there, when it's sticking, you can just like go like this. You know, this is by far the best hammer design that I've ever seen out there. Okay, it's not wood. It's not wood, so vibrations. It absorbs vibration. It's ergonomic. The design is really like. I trust this. This is my mighty Thor hammer. I think in principle and function, the hammer is the first tool. Yeah, way better than this thing. So, the latest and the greatest.